What's up guys, and welcome to Hardy's Hobbies, the channel where we discuss the latest tech news and delve into the newest tech products. Today, we are taking a look at why you shouldn't wait for the next generation of GPUs unless you're willing to pay a hefty price for it. But before we begin that, make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already to be updated with the latest tech news related to gaming and PCs. So what happened and why is there more hype about when these new GPUs are going to come out? Well, at GTC, Gamers Nexus was able to get in contact with SK Hynix, who is the memory producer for NVIDIA graphics cards, and they told Gamer Nexus that they were going to begin mass production of GDDR6 memory in just 3 months, so this summer. GDDR6 is what we expected to be part of the next series of gaming graphics cards from NVIDIA, so this signals that the next series from NVIDIA is coming out very soon. Unfortunately, we didn't hear anything from NVIDIA about the next series of graphics cards, but this is a very good hint that next series are coming out just this summer. So, how is the performance looking for these new GPUs? Well, unfortunately, we don't have any clues about how this is going to perform because we didn't even have any clues about when it was going to come out. But I think we can safely assume that these new GPUs will match the generational gap of last generation. So for example, the last generation, the 1060, was equal with the 980. And so this generation, I think we can assume or safely predict that the 1160 will be equal with the 1080. And last generation, two 980s in SLI were about or comparable with the 1080. And so in some games the 1080 would do better and some games 980 would do better. It really just depended on how optimized the games were for SLI. So this generation, I think two 1080s in SLI will be about equal with the 1180. So that's really good performance. You're basically getting 1080s in SLI as the 1180, and plus there won't be any optimization issues because it's just a single graphics card. So as a result, I think we can expect some good things out of this new series of GPUs, and plus it's going to have the GDDR6 memory, which is supposed to be twice as good as GDDR5 memory. So this is great and all, but when exactly is this new series supposed to come out? Well, again, we don't have anything from NVIDIA themselves, but considering that SK Hynix is going to produce their GDDR6 memory in mass production starting in July, I think we can safely assume that the next series of GPUs from NVIDIA are going to come out near the end of this summer. This actually coincides with what Tom's Hardware suggested just a few weeks ago. Tom's Hardware suggested that the next series of gaming graphics cards were going to be coming out at the end of summer and the mass production was going to begin in July. NVIDIA likes to stagger their releases, so I would assume that the 1180 and 1170 is what's probably going to come out first in the end of summer, and then like other variants like the 1150 and 1160 for the mid-level range will come out at the end of this year. Finally, other select variants like the 1150 Ti and 1180 Ti will probably come out sometime next year. So that's the release schedule that we can probably expect for these new GPUs. So everything about these new series is sounding great. They're gonna come with great performance, the newest memory, and they're coming out very soon as well. But the only problem is, they're probably going to be very expensive. And 1 month ago, it was actually suggested that the flagship of the next series, which would be the 1180, at least at the beginning, would cost $1,500. And the reason that they were saying this was because that the 1080s actually and 1080 Ti's were so expensive. Like back then the 1080 Ti's were $1,200, $1,300. The 1080 Ti's are still priced pretty bad, but they are at least starting to go down. They were suggesting that the flagship of the new series could not be cheaper than the flagship of the old series. So it wouldn't make sense if the 1180 was cheaper than the 1080 Ti. But now since the prices have started going down, I actually think that the 1180 will be much cheaper than what they predicted. But why exactly do I think that the 1080 Ti's will accelerate their downfall in price? Well, if you guys didn't already know, Ethereum, which is the most prominent cryptocurrency that miners with GPUs are mining, is actually having a really bad time. Last week, a new ASIC that was revealed, which was specifically designed to mine for Ethereum, and this really affected the price of Ethereum. Ethereum dropped by $100 or 20% in just a few days after the reveal. And plus, this is just not a little dip. This downfall has been occurring for a long time now. In the last 3 months, Ethereum has almost dropped in value by 3 times. So 3 months ago, Ethereum was almost worth 3 times more as what it is right now. Not only is the price going down, but the difficulty to mine Ethereum is also going up. And so that is deterring more miners from coming into the scene, or miners who are already on the scene, to sell their GPUs. And this is leading to a lot of used GPUs on Amazon and eBay, if you guys haven't already noticed yet. And if there's more supply, then obviously the price are going to go down. Now, do I recommend that you guys buy a GPU that was used for mining? Absolutely not. But in the grand scheme, that should definitely lead to a price drop in all GPUs. So I think that we could safely assume that the 1080 Ti will be sub $1,000 by the time that this new series comes out. Hopefully it'll even be in $800 or even less, hopefully. The only thing that should be keeping it up is the price of RAM. So if Nvidia does decide to price the 1180 more than the 1080 Ti, then hopefully at that time the 1080 Ti should be more reasonably priced, so the 1180 should not be too overpriced. But it's still going to be expensive because of the better parts that it uses, and since Nvidia has no competition. First of all, the 1180 is going to implement GDDR6 memory, and this is thought to be 20% more expensive than what GDDR5 memory was at launch. It does provide twice the performance, so that does make sense, but it's still going to be 20% more expensive, and so that's going to lead to a little bit more price increase. On top of that, the price of current generation GPUs will unfortunately still be inflated due to RAM prices, and obviously that RAM price inflation is also going to affect the new series as well. And if Nvidia does want to price it more than current generation, that's also going to rise the price even more. And also, Nvidia really has no competition. They have no reason to price it cheaper. They can price it however they want, and they'll probably still make a lot of money. There's a lot of gamers who just care about performance, and a little bit more money wouldn't really matter to them. And plus, Nvidia is monopolizing, and so even if the gamers who are buying these cards don't want to buy them, a lot of them are going to end up buying them because that's the only option they have for that type of performance. The GTX 1080 came out at $599, and honestly, I wouldn't find it surprising if Nvidia launched this new series at $699 or $799 or even more due to the GPU inflation. I just hope that it's less than $800. But even more than that is very reasonable and could be a possibility. People are still going to end up buying it because of the much superior performance, and Nvidia is going to have great sales, and obviously people who can't afford it are going to get screwed. But in the end, Nvidia is still going to be making more money than if they were to price it cheaper, and so Nvidia will probably do that because they want to make as much money as possible. Especially with GPU miners taken out of the equation, they're going to lose a lot of revenue, so they will probably try to make more money in the gaming market. And this can easily be accomplished if they simply rise the prices. So that's the situation for higher level cards. So hopefully the lower level cards like the 1160 and 1150 shouldn't be too much more than what the 10 series cards released for. So here's the gist of what happened. The next series of GPUs are going to have some insane performance, and they're probably coming out soon due to what we heard from SK Hynix. However, it's also going to carry a huge price tag due to having GDDR6 memory and much superior performance, and due to the inflated price of GPUs right now. On top of that, Nvidia has no competition, and they can get away with pricing their GPUs higher than what they're actually worth, so Nvidia is probably going to do that. And as a result, the next series of GPUs will probably be overpriced when they come out, especially the higher level cards like the 1170 and 1180. Hopefully the lower level cards will be less affected. So as a result, if you guys aren't willing to spend that much money on a GPU, so there's really no reason for you guys to get your hopes up for this new GPU. Maybe it might benefit you because the current generation GPUs might drop in price, but the new generation of GPUs may not be in reach for you guys. So just keep that in mind when you guys are considering to wait for the next generation GPUs. So the takeaway from this is, if you guys aren't willing to spend that much money, then you might as well get a GPU right now if you think it's at a good price. Like for example, let's say a GTX 1080 goes under $500 or $400, which I probably don't think is going to happen until the next series comes out. But anyways, if you find a good deal for any GPU and you don't think you can afford the next series, then you might as well go and pick that up. Anyways, what do you guys think about this? Do you think Nvidia is going to be nice and more forgiving and price their GPUs like $600 for the 1080 like last generation, or do you think they're gonna go up to $700 or $800 because they can? Make sure to post what you guys think in the comments down below, because I do read all my comments and I'm curious as to what you guys think. So make sure to post your thoughts. Also, if you guys like this video, then make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you would like to see more videos just like this one. But until next time, bye.